This is my review for Godzilla Minus One. We're doing full spoilers on this with y'all. Godzilla Minus One is damn good. When I look at my ratings categories, that is the top spot. You can't really get better than what this movie was. So like I said, we're doing full spoilers because, the run in the United States is about to end. It's been out in Japan for a while now. So we're going to talk about the movie in detail. And let's start with our characters. We are following a kamikaze pilot who fails to complete his mission, which means he doesn't actually do the suicide run. And I gotta say, this makes that character instantly relatable because who don't wanna live? Everybody wanna live. As I watched it as an American, I can immediately see the huge differences in societies and just the way people operate between American Western culture and Asian culture, and it's on display throughout the movie, and those parallels is what stood out so much to me. So that's what I really want to get into when we talk about our main character. His grief is displayed much different from everybody else. Even at the outset of the film, you see that he's tussling with the idea of survivor's guilt just because he didn't complete that mission, and it's a theme that continues to go throughout the movie. But his grief, to me, is always displayed differently from what you see people in America do, even in real life, as well as what you see them do on film. Respect for your elders, another huge difference. Like, he got back to his village and he saw they had been destroyed by the air raids, and he's being talked down to by one of his older neighbors, and he just takes it. And I know, again, in American culture, that's not flying. In Western civilization, Western European culture, like they're not gonna take that. People talking down to them, especially in a moment of grief where you learn about the loss of your parents and all this stuff, and she's treating you with disdain when you served and you did something in this war effort. It's like, I just don't see that going over well. But in Asian culture, he took that, and that is a part of how they operate so much differently from what we do in Western society. There's a sense of honor and piety that is on display in this movie. Again, in our main character, he runs into the leading lady. She leaves him with a baby. He sits for hours with the baby, and then when he decides to leave, he ends up taking her in. She immediately notices his sense of honor and knows that, okay, I can take advantage of this because he's not gonna put us out because he's a good guy. But taking it a step further than just that, I think about the fact that they live together as a man, woman, and child with no connection. Like, he never pushed the issue. He never inquired about a relationship, which in Western culture just doesn't happen. You're not staying in my house for multiple nights. I'm not going to work and giving back money. Like, people don't operate that way here in America. And I know modern times we don't, but I can't think back to a point in history where we did. But again, it's the difference in culture that stands out to me, and I really like it. I appreciate it a whole lot. As an anime fan, I look at this and I think to myself, some of the things that I see in anime, again, this is not anime, this is live action, but some of the things that you see in anime are done to play for comedy, but you can see it on display here. One of the things that I think about specifically in the third act of this film, you see our main character and he's begging for the address of his preferred mechanic. He's looking for the mechanic that he met in the beginning, and he like slams his head on the desk and he's begging. And I think about like Tanjiro in Demon Slayer who will do the same thing. Like, he'll bow. In the cartoons, it gets really exaggerated and like he's screaming, and like you can see his embarrassment, and other characters are shocked by his actions. And you kind of see it on display here, and it's played for comedy in here too. But to me, it's just a cultural thread. The fact that we see it in Japanese animation, and then we also see it here in live action Japanese film. Like, it's a cultural thing, and it makes perfect sense, and I like it. I really like it. I don't think people who don't watch anime will be culture shocked. I think everybody has enough common sense to realize, like, hey, it's a part of their culture to do things this way. But it really just stood out to me, and again, I just wanted to highlight it and talk about it. Now, we are however many minutes into this review, and I haven't mentioned Godzilla once. You know why? Because Godzilla is not the main character. He's not a protagonist, and that's the way to do it. Hollywood always runs into the problem where they try to make Godzilla the good guy, and they always try to make him someone that we cheer for. Like, we want to be in support of his actions. Let's make this monster fight against that monster, and we're gonna paint the others as bad, and we're gonna paint Godzilla as good, when in truth, all of them are destroying everything. This to me is much better. Make Godzilla the threat. Don't waste time on where he came from and how he came to be. He is and let's deal with him. And that to me felt great. Everything about this movie felt great. You know, we got exposition, but it didn't feel like an exposition dump. We had moments of character building and development that we got to see and understand, and it flowed just fine. Even though you're having to read it, it wasn't super dialogue heavy to the point where you're finding yourself doing more reading and following along than you are just enjoying the performances from the people on screen. And I know some people may look at this and say, oh, I don't really like the performances, it's very exaggerated. I don't see why. To me, this is a very, very good performance by the entire cast. The movie was paced well, it was smart, it was entertaining, and it was executed with perfection, damn near perfection. So I'm very high on Godzilla Minus One. It's the best Godzilla movie that I've seen in years, if not ever. I'd like to know what you think about it. Let me know your thoughts in that comment section if you choose to do so. That's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.